What's up, people? Yes. We have a packed show tonight. I mean, Xbox Live Gold is being dropped. PlayStation finally agree on a Call of Duty 10-year deal. Obviously, there's the whole Microsoft Activision Blizzard deal that's ongoing and current news. I spent the afternoon, listening in the background to the case management of the tribunal case for the UK CMA here and all of that. We're going to be discussing all the Xbox news because there's a hell of a lot of it. So titles, let's roll them. Yokoso. Arigato gozaimasu. Welcome to the Xbox Monday Night Chat. You are, of course, welcome. Say hello. Put it in the chat so I know that you're there. I'm not just shouting into the void and all of that. I'm sure you've got lots to say, lots to ask. Hey, raise any subjects Xbox related that you want to talk about. Put it in the chat. That's what it's all about. It's about the Xbox Monday Night Chat where we gather, we fellows and women or whatever, we few, as it were, we band of men and women, we gather to discuss all things Xbox. That's what it's all about. So welcome. Make sure you put your comments down in that chat. And of course, let me know what games you've been playing. Joy of joy, I finally got back on the old wagon, as they say. Yeah. I've fallen off the gaming wagon for a bit there. I got back on and I played some games. I'll be telling you all about that, of course, as well. And anything you want to ask about the case, the tribunal. So this is the CMA, the UK CMA and Microsoft Tribunal case management today about getting the hearing adjourned. And it was very surreal because both parties, weirdly enough, wanted it adjourned. So it was very non-combative compared to the whole kind of FTC injunction, which was very combative. This was like a gentle discussion over a cup of tea. It is the English way, as it were, and all of that. And I'm going to be talking about all of that, of course. So anyway, why don't we just dive in? Yeah. Oh, yeah. Let's do the housekeeping first, ladies and gentlemen. Please hit the likes. Yeah. Let YouTube know that you like it and maybe other people will like it. That people like this kind of stuff. So, yeah, I like it. YouTube likes it and it helps people like you find content like this. And if you are new here, he says, bang in the mic. Arigato gozaimasu. Please hit the subscribe button. Toggle the notification bell. Yeah, and that way you'll know when I go live with content like this, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, where do we start with all the news? Well, I tell you what, where we start. We start with you, yeah, because you're playing the honourable role of chat. Arigato gozaimasu. So let us go and see who are the early birds, the keen ones, the people in the mosh pit that I will catch me when I stage dive at that moment of euphoria into the mosh pit. These are the people that are going to be catching me and, passing me above their heads. That's my dream, yeah? Virtually. Sednar, how are you? Good evening. Good to see you, sir. It's a pile-in. It is Internet of Games. Absolute pile-in. Neil's in the house. Evening, sir. Suarez is there. Good to see you. Ah, Marcus Gronskog. I hope I said that. Gronskog. Gronskog. Good evening. Anyway, I'm sorry for mauling your name there. Anthony B. Evening, sir. It's funny. I was driving, little Anna evening, just sort of an old sort of 1950s British copper evening. Just reminded me, I picked my daughter up from work tonight and I was driving down the street and there was some fella walking down the street like this at the cars, like trying to, like, and it was obviously a bit drunk, I don't know, but he was like saluting as he walked down. So of course, as I drove past, I went, And he stopped and he raised his hands in exultation. Wow, somebody's responded to me. So there you go. You never know what people's state of mind is. But if somebody salutes you, salute them right back. And I did it one of those kind of push salutes, one of those. Ugh. Anyway, by the by, evening. Don't know why that reminded me of that. Anyway, Crow, Razin, how are you? Suarez Clive, tell me, how worried were you by the rumours that Microsoft were considering selling their cloud platform to get ABK through? I'm not worried. I'm confused. I suppose there's a bit of me that's worried because it doesn't make sense. It's a rumour, but interestingly enough, and we'll come to it, the proposals, because it was part of this sort of CAT case management, so this tribunal case management case this afternoon, it was raised that, and I think it caught, and it was a judge that raised it a little bit. Well, it was the CMA who raised it, but the judge kind of took it and expanded it a bit further, and it kind of, to me, it made quite an astonishing announcement, because basically what they were saying, and both Microsoft and the CMA were basically saying that, look, there are changes afoot because new proposals have been made, and also the judge was equally aware that Sony, PlayStation had signed a deal for Call of Duty, and that was one of the factors. It wasn't the driving factor for the CMA, but it was one of the factors why the CMA denied the merger. The main one was cloud gaming, but it was one of the factors. And so things have drastically changed. And so part of the reasoning is that the arguments that the CMA made is that an injunction could be made on postponing the case, the tribunal, which both parties wanted, would meet the criteria for a postponement on the basis that things had materially changed. And so then the judge raised the issue. He's saying, well, if it's only slightly changed, then that's not really enough grounds to stop going ahead with the case that has been proposed, like next week or whatever it was. But what both the CMA and Microsoft were saying is, no, there's a material change. It's big enough. And then the judge was saying, well, if it's a material change, then surely if the original blocking by the CMA was based on a certain set of information, well, it's irrelevant now if there's this new material. But the trouble is, neither Microsoft couldn't say, because obviously they're discussing, so they couldn't make public what the new proposal is, because it would be without prejudice. It would prejudice their negotiations. And equally, the UK CMA, they hadn't actually received the proposal. So we don't know what the new proposal is, but according to Microsoft, it is substantial enough to be material, i.e. it's big, it's significant. It's not just like a little tweak. It's a big tweak. But we don't know what it is. So it's like chicken and egg. It's enough to qualify for the, to make the case that they don't go ahead with the, they postpone the tribunal case, but they can't say what it is. So the judge has to sort of take them at their word a bit, which is a bit interesting. But yeah, so it's not a tweak, put it that way. Surely the ABK deal isn't worth throwing away all that tech and future-proofing. Who knows? Exactly. Who is that handsome gent? Indeed, a question many people ask, but nobody answers. Dasmay, how are you? Good to see you, sir. Mafia 2, RD, Red Dead Redemption 2, and GTA 5. Good show. I love the show, said Jonas Joner. Oh, thank you, man. I love you, bro, for loving the show. Henriksen's back in the house. Hello, bro. He's always eager. Henriksen, I'll get to you, man. I always get to you. Don't worry. I'm so confused. So where we're up to the FTC sorted now, just CMA and the sale goes through, or is it through? What's going on? I will explain it all, ladies and gentlemen, because it is confusing. It is confusing. I'll explain it all. Don't worry. Henriksen, I told you to get round to you, son. There we go. Good to see you. Right. Before we do that, though, let's roll, ladies and gentlemen, let's roll with some other news. Okay? So I guess the big news, let us start with, I'm going with Xbox Gold Live. No, Live Gold. I always get that muddled up. I have a big, I have a video about sharing Xbox Live Gold. And I can never remember, is it Live Gold, Gold Live, Live Gold? It's Live Gold. Anyway, it doesn't matter now. It's gone. Well, it's going. It's going, ladies and gentlemen, and that's what we're going to talk about. Hello.
Hello, I'm in the box. I'm in the circle. Let me out. Hello.
Yeah, Game Pass Core. It's Game Pass Core, as they say on Carry On films in the UK. A little reference to 40 plus, people of 40 plus in the UK. Core. Game Pass Core. Introducing Game Pass Core coming this September. So, Xbox Live Gold. Now, this is quite interesting. Xbox Live Gold is becoming Xbox Game Pass Core. So, basically, they're just having a series of sort of Game Pass type things. So, this starts on September the 14th. So they're just sort of reorganizing stuff and all of that. And there'll be a new select collection of games with Xbox Games Pass Core. Sounds familiar. Like some subscription service where you have a library of games and a few more games are added every month. Sounds familiar. Today, we're continuing our commitment to give players more choice and value. We'll be the judge of that by introducing Xbox Game Pass Core, launching on September the 4th. It is the evolution of Xbox Live Gold. Xbox Live Gold always seemed a bit outdated to me. I used to love it. Before they bought out, before Xbox Game Pass came, it was great because it was like, oh, I've got some free games. And there was always at least one that I'd like give it a go. I played some fun games. But I don't know, ever since Game Pass has been around, I've never claimed my Xbox Live Gold games. And I'm a bit of a claimer. I'm not a pro claimer. Boom! I wouldn't walk 500 miles for that game or another 500 miles. I'm here all night, folks. Yeah, I'm a proclaimer. I wouldn't say I'm a proclaimer. I no longer claim Xbox Live Gold. I'm laughing at my own joke, but it's quite amusing. I quite like that. That's a proper dad joke, that is. You could take that to the bank, dads. Game Pass Core is the evolution of Xbox Gold Live. Game Pass Core will give players access to our advanced multiplayer network. So it's like Live Gold. Basically, that's all Live Gold was, really. It gave you access to, play online on the multiplayer network. A selection of over 25 games to play with friends around the world. Woohoo! An exclusive members deal, all for $9.99, $9.99, or $60 a year. Okay, so basically it's giving you access to, multiplayer online. But that's what Gold Live Gold did. But you've got this addition of a catalogue of 25 games to which they're adding games on a regular basis. Now, does that mean is it like Stadia where you just build your catalogue up, which I thought was a fantastic model. I mean, those that were Stadia Pro members, God, anybody remember how many games we had in the end? 180 plus. 180 odd games, I think, in the end. If you'd been a Stadia Pro member from the get-go, something like that, 180 plus at least it was. It was crazy. Anybody remember the final number? Who used to... What's it lead? What's it led? He would always keep a track. Is he in the chat? He'd know. Anyway, so is it like that, I wonder, where you start off with 25 and then they're going to add games? Players have been connecting via Xbox Live to compete, cooperate and experience the biggest online games. Then in 2017, we introduced Xbox Game Pass. I remember it well. And provided curated library of games. Game Pass Core brings online play together with Game Pass in a new offering for gamers around the world. So you get 25 titles. We'll offer something for everyone to play on their Xbox Series X and S and Xbox One consoles. There are 25 titles at launch. New titles will be added 2 to 3 times a year. Okay, so it's not monthly. I thought it was monthly, and then it'd be like a real Stadia model, wouldn't it? InLed, that's it. I knew you'd come up with InLed. I was wondering if you'd in the house. InLed, 176 games. I knew it was around 180. I wasn't far off. Wasn't far off. There he is, indeed. There he is. There he is. Right, so you've got Among Us, Descenders, Dishonored, Doom Eternal. Hello. Oh, well, actually, when we think about it, no coincidence. Gears 5, Grounded, Halo 5 Guardians, Halo War 2, Hellblade, Human Flat Inside, Ori and the Will of the Wisps, Elder Scrolls Online, State of the Decay. Not bad, really. Not a bad 25. Right, here's the breakdown, anyway, of the new plan. Yeah, so you've got your core there, online console multiplayer, over 25 high-quality games on console, member deals and discounts. Great, okay? The key thing there is online console multiplayer. And then you've got just console. So this is Game Pass for console. Hundreds of high-quality games on console. New games day one, great. Members deals and discounts, great. But no online console multiplayer. But I think that's how it was. You had Xbox Live Gold, and then you had your basic Games Pass. So that, although at first I read that, I thought, oh, wait a minute, you're not getting online play. But that's how it was before. But I think the way that it's structured is it's sort of saying to people, go on, get yourself Ultimate, yeah? Go on, get yourself Ultimate. But interestingly enough, PC, Games Pass PC, hundreds of high quality games on PC, new games on day one, members deals and discounts, EA Play membership. I didn't realise that was part of the... I didn't realise EA Play membership was part of Ultimate either. I thought you always had to pay extra for that. Or am I being dumb? Anyway, hundreds of high-quality games on console, PC, cloud. So, yeah, there's your PC one, which might be worth it if, you know, you would play via GeForce Now only and not on the console version. And then Ultimate, of course, high-quality games, hundreds of high-quality games, new games day one, members deals, online console multiplayer. So that's what they're trying to do is get you, don't go for the console, they're saying go for the Ultimate, and EA Play membership, which have I missed that? Was that always part of Ultimate? Because I always thought it was an extra $5.99. Anyway, let us know what you think there in the chat. Cometh the hour, cometh the man. Yeah, InLed. I can always rely on InLed. Microsoft will give xCloud some more attention now. Well, hopefully. Chariot Man's in the house. What's up? Big news, indeed. Let us know anyway what you think. I mean, it's not. They're just really renaming things and sort of tidying it up, so it's just all under the Game Pass umbrella. So it's Game Pass Core, Game Pass Console, Game Pass PC, Game Pass Ultimate. Always part of Ultimate. Don't. What, you have to pay extra for it, or was it? Because I would have. I would have tried a few F1 games. It's always been part of Ultimate. Foolish me. I thought you paid $5.99 for it. More fool me then, not paying attention. Anyway, let us know what you think about the whole rejig and all of that at Game Pass. Do you think they are doing you dirty on the console? It's effectively the same model. It is, to me, it's just renaming. But there's clearly a drive to get everyone on Ultimate. I think the only reason... I think the choice is... I think console's not really a choice, oddly enough. I think you either go, I'm not interested in Game Pass, right? I'm not interested in Game Pass, but I love playing. I'm just going to be playing FIFA or Call of Duty or whatever, and I own them and all that kind of stuff. Fortnite. I just want Core, or whatever it is. Yeah, Apex Legends. I've got it. I own Apex Legends. I just want to play Core. So I just need my online multiplayer access, right? Core, perfect. PC would be great if you just say GeForce Now. I only play on GeForce Now, but I love the idea of Xbox Game Pass PC. Great. Although no multiplayer bit there. Or does it matter on PC? And then, but console, would you really go, I really love Game Pass, but I'm not interested in playing multiplayer games? Don't know. It just seems odd. So I think the choice is really depending on your, probably between Core, PC if you just want PC, and Ultimate, and console is really priced in such a way that it's sort of saying, yeah, go on. If you want multiplayer game, you might as well just get Ultimate. So yeah, interesting. Other news in the UK here. And I think it's a sign of times to come here. Tesco are ending sales of boxed video games. Is there really a market? I mean, I'm always ahead of the curve. Like many of you, I was into Stadia. I love everything being in the cloud. I don't want a DVD collection. Got rid of that. I mean, I've still got a few of my kids, DVDs from when they were little kids. But other than that, I don't have a DVD collection anymore. Everything I need is in the cloud, or digital. I can download it. So is this just a sign of the times? Tesco is to drop boxed video games. Tesco is probably the biggest supermarket. They were Walmart. No, was that Asda? Asda, yeah. Tesco is probably the biggest supermarket in the UK. And basically, they are ending its sale of boxed video games. I mean, who buys a boxed video games? Apart from your gran for you for Christmas. And she gets you the wrong game. Yeah? Have you got that Red Dead Auto Trader thing 5? Whatever it is. What would be the equivalent? I can't think of a joke now about it, but what game, I'll tell you what, here's the challenge. What game would your gran get you when you want, it's like you want FIFA and she gets you Pro Evo. No, that's not, because I like, eFootball, which is of course Pro Evo. Yeah. I suppose that would be it. If you're a kid and you wanted FIFA and then your gran came back with eFootball or whatever, you'd be a bit, it's got that Mr. Messi on the front. I thought you'd like it. Mr. Messi's on the front. Yeah. Yeah, Mum, I wanted FIFA. Of course, there's no FIFA now, is it? So many grandmas will be confused because there's no FIFA anymore. Anyway, let us know. Are you, are you like, I like a boxed? It's not like the old day of records or vinyl where you'd be opening your double vinyl and you'd be reading the lyrics and all of that. It's just a DVD box. Don't need that. It's all digital, man. Anyway, let's know. And is it happening in your country? Are you seeing less and less shops? Because who the hell goes to the shops anyway? Yeah. In fairness, I bought my first Xbox from Tesco when I was with the kids. I said, come on, get in the car. We're buying an Xbox. Just pop to Tesco. Yeah, that'll do. Off the shelf. Boom. Anyway, let us know in the chat about that. Of course, the big announcement, finally, and this is quite an interesting one, really. Xbox, over the weekend, we are pleased to announce that Microsoft and PlayStation have signed a binding agreement to keep Call of Duty on PlayStation following the acquisition of Activision Blizzard. We look forward to a future where players globally have more choice to play their favourite games. So finally, this is basically PlayStation. Yeah, Sony going after the FTC failed with their injunction to stop Microsoft and Activision Blizzard going ahead with the merger, if they so wish. I think PlayStation just went, this is PlayStation going, the game's up, mate. It's happening, right? I mean, good luck to the FTC on the 2nd of August, right? But look, this merger's happening. And if we don't, so, plus our case, all our ranting to try and get the deal blocked was perhaps the weakest part of the case against Microsoft and Activision Blizzard. Even the CMA said, no, we don't think the threat of Call of Duty being, withheld from Sony is enough to block it. Our concern is cloud gaming. And that's partly why I think, in my opinion, the FTC lost both its attempts at an injunction, because they focused on the Sony side of it. And it's like, what? Boo-hoo, giant multi-million-pound console gaming company that's bigger than Xbox is moaning. Like, what kind of argument is that? We're here to protect the consumer, not one of your rivals who is significantly bigger than you. Like, you know what I mean? What a weak case that was. So, I think PlayStation just went, oh, damn. And it was funny because I was chatting with my partner over the weekend about this, and I was saying, and I've said it before on this show, Sony were always in a difficult position with the merger. And as they said, Jim Ryan said, I'm not bothered about Call of Duty. I just want to block the deal. Yeah, that's all it was ever about. So since some of the issues around the merger was, what if Microsoft, make Call of Duty exclusive? Would that be unfair? And everybody knew that it made no sense for Xbox to do that. And Xbox said, well, we wouldn't do that. It wouldn't make no sense. As we found out, Sony make $800 million out of sales of Call of Duty on PlayStation. And I think I calculated, I forget how much I calculated before, but it's something like $2 billion. That's worth $2 billion at least to Activision Blizzard, or now Microsoft. So, of course, they were always going to keep selling Call of Duty on PlayStation. And that's why Microsoft were quite happy to offer a deal, as they offered it to Switch and everybody else. They offer a deal, a 10-year guarantee to Sony. Look, we'll guarantee it you. It's no skin up. They're not losing anything doing it. It's win-win. But Sony couldn't accept it, because by Sony accepting it, it would be them sending a big message to all the competition and market authorities around the world, undermining the argument that somehow it's anti-competitive because of the Call of Duty issue. So even though Sony kind of need Call of Duty, they want Call of Duty and know they're going to get Call of Duty, they couldn't actually accept the Microsoft deal at the time, because by doing so would instantly weaken the competition and market authorities around the world who were potentially going to, looking to block the Microsoft. So they were in a kind of between a rock and a hard place, literally. But now it's like, I think they've accepted it, and, they've just had to sort of go, all right, we'll sign the deal. So, because they know I think it's a sign that Sony are basically saying, yeah, look, the FTC have lost twice already on the injunctions. Their case clearly doesn't look very strong come 2nd of August. Microsoft have entered into a discussion with the CMA in the UK, like a negotiation, basically. So the tribunal for that has been postponed, and as it happened today, the judge agreed, okay, because he has faith in Microsoft and CMA discussing it, and CMA operating in fairness about that. So, and Microsoft in that case today basically said, look, we can't tell you what it is because we're having discussions with the CMA, and we're not going to present to CMA our final offer to get this over the line until we've sort of had that kind of feedback loop with the CMA. Like going, will this work? Like, give us a clue. Will this work? They're not going to sort of present it blind. They're going to have a conversation and then find out what it is they need to do to satisfy the CMA. And if that's something they can do and comfortable with, and just have a little negotiation and sort of find some common ground so that they don't have to have a tribunal. So, yeah, Sony basically admitting it's happening. Yeah, Activision Blizzard's happening, so grab that deal. Interestingly enough, it is just a deal in terms of Activision Blizzard titles, it is just a deal for Call of Duty. And I think originally there was suggestion that potentially, well, on the table, or at least Sony, I think, probably more from Sony, was saying we want to guarantee all Activision Blizzard titles come to Sony. Well, Xbox is going, this is the best you're getting is a guarantee of Call of Duty. And as I said, it's no loss to Xbox because they were always going to bring Call of Duty to PlayStation because it makes so much money for both for them. So, of course, well, for Activision Blizzard. So, of course, they were always going to do that deal. But this deal is limited specifically to Call of Duty. So, yeah, Sony sort of in a weaker bargaining position now. So they have to just bite the hand off there and take that deal. I'm sure it'll be just on the same basis of all, previous deals. Except they probably won't have marketing rights, like exclusive marketing rights, because that would be bonkers. But at least they have a guarantee, the title of being, on the platform, in the same form, at the same time, all the same updates, blah-de-blah-de-blah. So, yeah, there you go. Interesting stuff. There was an interesting interview on Bloomberg with the former Competition and Markets Authority. This is the UK Competition and Markets Authority's legal director, former, and they were discussing this Microsoft Activision deal has wiggle room for divestiture. So basically, to kind of divest themselves, separate themselves, or separate out part of the company, Activision Blizzard. And there are rumors that basically what they'll do is, I don't know, there's a rumor that they'll sell the cloud gaming rights to EE in the UK. EE are like a big telecommunications, internet and broadband provider, who interestingly enough already have a guarantee of Xbox Game Pass titles coming in the same way they signed an agreement with Microsoft, the same agreement that GeForce Now signed, the same agreement that Boostroid signed. EE signed the same agreement. But the rumor is that potentially one solution may be in the UK, they farm off the cloud gaming rights to EE, and then EE licensed the rights in the UK. Now, that's just a rumour. I don't know. But what we do know from today is, see if it says anymore. Yeah. The focus shifts to appeasing the UK regulator authority. It's the last hurdle to get the deal through after the FTC was denied an injunction in the federal court. So the rumour is, we don't know, and the CMA haven't seen it. The CMA scrutiny here was based on the lack of cloud gaming service business models, not sufficiently open to non-Microsoft platforms, and standardizes terms and conditions. So even though Microsoft has offered, the Games Pass, Xbox PC games and Activision Blizzard games to GeForce Now, Boosteroid and stuff like that, as far as the UK CMA were concerned, it's not enough. So what Xbox are proposing, what Microsoft is proposing, we don't know. But the suggestion is it'll be an element of divestiture, i.e. separating out part of the company. I talked about it on Thursday. Do they have an Activision Blizzard UK or something like that? Or do they, license out the IP or the cloud gaming rights specifically to EE and then EE distribute them? I don't know how it'll work and how that benefits the UK consumer in the short term or even in the long term, because surely any remedy to cloud gaming, you want it to work on a global scale. And if the remedy is just localized to the UK, then how's that going to benefit cloud gaming on a global scale? So I don't know. There's a lot of unanswered questions. And what we do know, as I said, what we do know from the case management today of the UK CMA, so the CAT, this is the tribunal, has agreed with some requirements to pause Microsoft's appeal of the CMA decision to block Activision merger deal. Both, and this is the weird thing, both the CMA and Microsoft requested this. So basically, the tribunal, which would look at to see whether the UK CMA had made a material error in coming to their judgment, so that blocking the merger deal, so that judgment would be squashed, quashed. That tribunal was due to take place in the next couple of weeks, over the next week or so. But since new material has come forward, Microsoft has contacted the UK CMA and said, look, we have a new proposal for you. We want to talk to you about it. So let's not have a tribunal. Let's see if we can't work it out. We can work it out. Let's see if we can work it out, baby. Let's sit round the table, and work it out. That's what they're going to do. So what that meant, that's the CMA go, fine, but we'll need to, the injunction is it's like an act of law. So not the injunction, sorry, the tribunal case has been plotted and planned. So you can't just it's not up to the CMA to go, all right, we won't do it. It's up to the court of the tribunal to go, well, I've got the date in the diary. I'm not, I've agreed to sit here. The judge has agreed to turn up and all of that. So basically the CMA and Microsoft had to go, and that's what the case was today, to the CAT, the tribunal authority, to say, please, sir, can we cancel that tribunal meeting because things have changed slightly? And the judge can't just go, yeah, sure, no problems. He can only do it based on due process. So they had to go through the whole rigmarole of justifying why the tribunal shouldn't take place. And this is where we got really interesting chicken and egg scenario. The judge was very aware that over the weekend, Sony had signed the Call of Duty deal. And he said, so that changes things significantly, especially if your case was partly to the CMA, if your case was partly based on that. Your concerns about whether they'd actually do a deal with Sony because Sony had refused. Well, that's not the case anymore. So your decision was a historical decision, arguably, based on old material. And, whilst that decision is fine, it's based on stuff that is historical and not new. So then I thought for a moment, the judge was going to go, so you need, so you're blocking the merger is no longer relevant. But he didn't quite get that far. And he said, but I can only cancel the tribunal if what is being proposed is a material change. So not just a tweak, it has to be a material change, a significant change to what Microsoft was proposing, or that the CMA consider it to be enough of a change that actually it changes the ball game. Yeah, basically, it's a different game. Yeah, different set of information. And Microsoft lawyer basically said, yeah, it is. It's what we are about to propose to the CMA is a big change, but we can't tell you what it is. And the CMA were going, yeah, we understand. He's saying to the judge, yeah, we understand what they're going to offer is a big change, but we don't know what it is. So the judge was saying, yeah, but how do I know it's a big change if you can't tell me? And the Microsoft judge was going, well, I can't tell you because it would be prejudice the case. And we want to have a conversation, like I said earlier, with the CMA to sort of sound them out a bit. And the CMA were going, yeah, we're happy to be sounded out. So in the end, the judge said, all right, but with caveats. Basically, he said, I will give Microsoft, basically all this was about was to give Microsoft and the CMA some room to negotiate rather than go to tribunal. The UK's Competition Appeal Tribunal, that's the CAT, has agreed with some requirements that need to be satisfied on Thursday. The CMA went to the judge. He said, would you be happy if I came back, I came back with your requirements by tomorrow, the end of play tomorrow? And the judge, he had to go, hold up, son. It's already 6:30, right? The working day's gone. Are you telling me you'll be able to meet all the requirements, like, in a working day? Like, I think you're going to cause yourself, come a cropper, mate. So I'll tell you what I'm going to do for you, because I like you. I'll give you till Thursday. I thought that was interesting. So basically, they've agreed, the CAT, the Competition Appeal Tribunal, has agreed to pause Microsoft's appeal of the CMA decision to block Activision Blizzard merger. Both the CMA and Microsoft requested this last week to allow them to negotiate over a cloud gaming deal. So there is a material change to the Microsoft Activision merger deal, specifically around cloud gaming. The CMA has also extended the date for its final order from July the 18th to August the 29th. So it's likely that Microsoft's deal, which has to be signed, so the Microsoft Activision Blizzard deal is due to be signed by tomorrow, the 18th. The deadline is by the 18th. If it's not signed, then the options are basically Microsoft have to pay Activision Blizzard $3 billion for the deal not being signed in time. Oops. It's 18 months after the deal was struck tomorrow. 18 months tomorrow. They would have hoped and liked to have everything done in that 18 months. 18 months we've been talking about this. Crazy. Anyway, so the deal either happens tomorrow or Microsoft pay Activision $3 billion. It's like a penalty. Or Microsoft and Activision go, look, we know what's going on. Why don't we just extend the deadline to, I don't know, the end of August? Yeah? What would you do if you were Activision Blizzard? Would you go, yes? Because you want you're Activision Blizzard, you want the deal to go through. Would you go, yes, I want the deal to go through? Hey, everybody, remember to hit the likes, by the way. I know I'm jibber-jabbering. 31 people in the house. Whoop, whoop. That's what we like. Would you sign the deal if you were Activision? Would you, agree to extend it? Or would you go, give us the $3 billion and we'll extend it? Bear in mind, Activision Blizzard's got its own shareholders. They'd like to see that $3 billion. Or, and I thought about this today when I was driving around, I thought, do you go, give us the $3 billion now as an advance, but we'll use it as an advance against the $69 billion if and when the deal goes through by the end of August, say, and we'll move the deadline to the end of August. And then if it doesn't go through, we keep the $3 billion that you've given us. That's what I would do if I was Activision Blizzard. I'd go, look, give us the $3 billion, but we'll accept it as an advance against the $68 billion whatever dollar deal. And if it goes through, fine, you just pay us, 69 billion. You just pay us the 66 billion, yeah? And we're all good. Or if it doesn't go through, we just keep the 3 billion. Because, a bird in the hand is worth 9 in the bush. And, I'd like to earn some interest off that money. Anyway, so we will see, ladies and gentlemen, we will see what will happen tomorrow. Will they, and that's interesting, let's do a poll. I'm going to do a poll. Do MS and Activision Blizzard sign the deal tomorrow? Right. So do they sign the deal tomorrow? That is the question, ladies and gentlemen. There's a poll going on. Let us know. Let's see what you lot have been saying in the chat, ladies and gentlemen. Ultimate, Game Pass Ultimate. Coincidence? Who knows? It was included. $5.9. Oh, there we are. What a fool. What a fool I was. I'm going to go and play all the... I'm going to go F1. I played on an F1 sim rig. And I was tempted to I thought I need practice of Silverstone, doing a few flying laps of Silverstone so I don't make a fool of myself. Fabi, how are you? Good to see you there. I'm good, thank you. Miguel Sierra's been playing Saints Row. Which one? Miguel? Good for the environment, dropping that distributed, ephemera crap. Exactly. I'm going, oh my God, my partner, she's gone full Mary Kondo. Yeah, Marie Kondo on my house. Oh my God. The garden, it's amazing though. The garden was a jungle, an overgrown, crazy. It's like a Zen garden now. It's amazing. My garden's increased its size by a third of garden I didn't even know. I found 2 fountains. Even found a mysterious manhole on the front garden. Ancient manhole. Weird. Anyway. Joseph is saying, I love Core because all I want is to play online. Yeah, I think that's the thing. I think there is a real audience for Core. People like yourself there, Joseph, who, just have a couple of the big games, FIFA, whatever it is, and just want to play. Yeah, so just want multiplayer access and are less bothered about the Game Pass offering. So I think Core, makes a lot of sense from that perspective. But clearly, I think the incentive is, if you're considering console Game Pass, is that the real value is just trying to find an extra $6 or whatever it is and getting Ultimate. Hey, Jerome, how are you? I'm busy with my new phone. Nice. Which phone have you got? Tesco's biggest supermarket share in the UK, 27% versus Sainsbury's was second. Yeah, exactly. They are big, and they did go into America for a while, but it was a fail. They lost a lot of money doing that. I only buy yearly games like FIFA, F1, and WRC with yearly releases on discs, as I know I'll be trading them in. Yeah, of course, that's the great sadness. I used to go to Game, and back in the day, like 15 years ago, 20 years ago, I used to quite love going to Game and going through their second-hand selection and pick up a few games. You know, this was before really, Xbox Gold Live and Game Pass and all of that. It was a great way to sort of build out your collection. If you had a few pennies in your pocket, a few quid, a few dollars. I used to quite like that process of going through Game, the shop's called Game in the UK it was, and seeing what trade-ins they had, what second-hand. And they used to a real good trade-in deal. And there was a whole economy of that at shops like that, especially game shops. Probably had the same in the US, but a real economy of those sort of trading games. That's the one sad thing, I think, of not having physical copies anymore. But I guess we have other conveniences now, like we have the Live Gold or Core now, where you got free games and Games Pass and stuff like that. And, Steam and all those kind of stuff, and you get CD keys. So there's you can pick up some digital, pretty cheap digital games with CD keys and things like that. So, yeah. I couldn't afford to represent myself out there. The weaker argument was that Nintendo was not a competitor to Xbox and PlayStation when the Switch was the best-selling, exactly. The best-selling last-gen console of earlier this year, exactly. Finally, can buy Activision 4 to 6 weeks. Yeah, unfortunately, I think, in my view, I think Microsoft and Activision will just mutually agree to extend the deadline till, I don't know, middle of August. Something like that. We must wait 2 months to know about the CMA. Well, I think the CMA issue it could be that Microsoft and the CMA come to an agreement, but part of that will be Microsoft saying to the CMA in the UK, look, if we are to, whatever it is, we license out the cloud gaming to EE, yeah? Divest ourselves of cloud gaming, set up a separate cloud gaming company in the UK, operate at arm's length, structurally change the company in such a way in the UK that satisfies your concerns about cloud gaming, which, again, I said is a bit odd because surely the CMA's case should be about cloud gaming globally, because you can only benefit, an industry on a global benefit. You can't sort of have a local benefit. It doesn't make any sense, if you sort of mean. If as a consumer champion that the UK CMA are meant to be, they should be doing something, yes, to benefit UK gamers, but this is a global deal, so it should benefit cloud gaming globally. But if the solution is just UK based, it doesn't make any sense. So it's like, well, I don't know what they're going to do. But yeah, if they do, if I was Microsoft, I'd say, all right, then you don't need a full-on investigation again. You don't need to spend the next 3 months, asking the industry, because you've already asked the industry. Yeah? The only people that had any concern, really, is Sony about Call of Duty, and you said that wasn't an issue. Most of the cloud gaming companies are happy, because we've promised them they're going to get Xbox PC games. Boosteroid are going to get them. GeForce Now are going to get them. Google maybe kicked up a bit of a complaint, but not a big complaint. So you don't need to go back to the industry, because what we're offering you is a better position in terms of, it's what you want, CMA. Yeah. So if the industry, the gaming industry as a whole, in general, were happy with what we were offering, and you are the only ones that weren't happy with what we're offering, then if we satisfy you, then there's no need for you to go back to the industry to go, are you happy with this? Right? Because they're already happy with where it is now. And if we have to tighten things up just to satisfy you, then the industry's already happy anyway with where we were at. So all we'd be doing is satisfying you, the CMA, not the industry. Although ironically, imagine if they did. Imagine if the CMA go, all right, Xbox, whatever your solution is, you divest the cloud gaming aspect of it, right? I don't know. You rent that, you license that out to EE in the UK. And now we need to go through proper, public consultation, just like we did originally, because this is a brand new merger sort of proposal, effectively, right? It's a material change. It's a new merger proposal. So we need to consider it. We need to do a public test, public value test. We need to go to public. We need to go to the industry. Imagine if they did that, and then the industry goes, no, this is terrible. This cloud gaming solution is worse. Yeah? You can't approve this deal because the UK consumer, what if the industry went to the UK CMA and said, oh, this new deal you can't approve because the consumer would lose out. We're strongly against this proposal. GeForce Now go, we're strongly against this proposal. Then what's the UK CMA? What? They go back to Microsoft and go, no, that solution's no good. The industry didn't like it. And then you get Microsoft, you go, yeah, but they did like our first solution. You're the only one that didn't like the first solution. Now the industry doesn't like the second solution, but you like this second solution. It's like, ah. So if I was Microsoft, I'd be going, look, if we make this proposal, because it is a big change, it's a material change, we're going to change the structure of the company in the UK and all of that, whatever it is they're going to do, yeah, we will do it, but on condition that you don't spend the next 3 months doing a public value test, asking the industry for feedback and all of that, because you've got all the feedback, yeah? So you turn this round, you make a decision within a week or 2 weeks, yeah? We think that's fair because you've already done the public consultation on this. That if I was Microsoft, that's what I would say. I'd say we are only proposing this because you had concerns. The rest of the industry didn't have concerns. You have concerns. We'd like to think we've addressed those concerns. We've been having a conversation. Hopefully this meets the criteria to satisfy you, but please don't start triggering a whole new review that's going to take 2 to 3 months. Yeah? Or if you're vaguely happy with this, we're going to go ahead and sign the deal. Yeah? And then if it turns out you're not happy with it after 2 to 3 months, we'll see you in court. Yeah? Because when Facebook bought Giphy, Facebook went ahead, even though the CMA, I think they blocked the deal in the UK. Facebook went ahead with the deal, and then they had to they got fined, and then they had to sort of undo a bit of it and change it a bit in the UK because the CMA, said, no, we don't agree with the deal. But the point is they went ahead and did it anyway, and then live with the consequences. So I think we could have a scenario where Microsoft, if they feel that it's, that on the face of it, the CMA are more than likely approve the deal, and that the CMA say, yeah, but we still have to go through due process, and the Microsoft go, okay, that's fine, but we're going to go ahead anyway, yeah? because we're confident that you'll come to the right decision this time because of our conversations. And if not, we'll just, you'd have to spend taxpayer money and argue it in the courts. That's how it's going to be. That's what I reckon. If Xbox Live is going away, so let's Jonas and I think Suarez wanted to know, when's this bloody damn thing going to get signed? So there's that. So the scenario currently is, that there's no tribunal currently planned now. That's been postponed over the UK CMA approach. Basically, UK CMA and Microsoft are going to have a conversation, and Microsoft going to make a proposal that will hopefully satisfy the CMA. So they're going to negotiate basically a way around it. That's the principle. But the FTC is still planning crazy. They've lost about 3-0, 4-0, whatever it is. If it was a football match, they're well down. There's no comeback. But it still looks like the FTC is still going to go ahead and sue Microsoft. That's the way they do it in America. They basically sue the company, whereas in the UK, it's a sort of a judgment handed down by the CMA. The FTC, they have to sort of sue the company, so they're going to sue Microsoft to block them from the deal, and that is due on August the 2nd. But I probably think that what will happen is that Microsoft is so confident about winning that case that they'll probably sign the deal as soon as they've sorted out the situation with the UK CMA. So as far as I'm concerned, I think that's the major blockage. And just as Microsoft have entered into a deal with Sony for Call of Duty on there and done that, just as Microsoft prevented the FTC from putting through an injunction to stop them from signing the deal, the main blockage now, except is less of a blockage. It's the CMA, but it looks like the CMA want a solution, Microsoft want a solution, and I think on the face of it, it's going to happen. There'll just be a delay, and how long that will be, a few weeks, couple of months, I'm not sure, but it's going to happen. Yeah, they have to complete tomorrow, but I think they will mutually agree to just extend the deadline. But as I said, who knows? FTC has lost everything this month. There are no more hearings until August. Exactly. The agreement is to complete on the 18th of July. They can theoretically complete tomorrow without the CMA agreement. Exactly. They can just take a chance. And I think that's the question. And that's partly the question in the poll. Do you think they're just going to go, look, we're fairly confident that we'll reach an agreement with the CMA. We're not worried about the FTC case. We think that's a slam dunk. So let's just sign the deal. There's nothing stopping us, as Case Bull says. There's nothing stopping them from signing the deal. Or let's wait a week or 2 weeks until we've had a proper discussion with the CMA, and then have had a chance to reduce the risk of there being an issue. Or just go ahead tomorrow. We'll know tomorrow, basically. This is not uncommon. GeForce Now, for example, has partners all over the world. And an Activision UK costs little to incorporate. Exactly. I think it will be... But it has to... one of it'll... I guess there are a number of solutions. And, I'm not a business strategist in that kind of, corporate structure way. But I think if it's to have an impact on the cloud gaming, it has to be around basically xCloud, doesn't it? Right? The Xbox cloud gaming offering. Or, actually, no, if we think about it, their concern is by buying Activision Blizzard, it would basically add to the Xbox Game Pass catalog in such a powerful way that Xbox would have too much control over too many titles that they would have an unfair advantage and basically make it difficult for any new cloud gaming companies to kind of come up. That is, or for the cloud gaming business and industry to develop. That is the UK CMA's concern right now. But the UK CMA is perfectly happy with the state of xCloud as it is now without Activision Blizzard. So maybe that is the solution. That Activision Blizzard Cloud UK is a company that's set up specifically for the Activision Blizzard titles only. And they are then licensed to cloud gaming companies, including Xbox, and therefore Xbox don't have control over the cloud gaming rights of the Activision Blizzard titles, because that is what the CMA concern is about. The CMA isn't concerned about xCloud right now. They're concerned about the power Xbox has in the cloud gaming market when they've got all those Activision Blizzard titles, including Call of Duty. That's their concern. So if Microsoft said, well, I'll tell you what, we won't get those right. We will set up, this is it, I've got the solution, I've worked it out, live, ladies and gentlemen, you're hearing it now. Basically, yeah, they set up Activision Blizzard games, or Activision Blizzard cloud games in the UK. They have the licensing rights, the cloud game license rights for all the Activision Blizzard titles, a separate company. And then Microsoft have to do a deal with that separate company to get those games on Games Pass. Now, if Microsoft want to do a licensing deal with Activision Blizzard, yeah, to acquire those games from Activision Blizzard, to license the games, not own the games, but license the games in the UK for xCloud, then that's fine. The CMA would go, fine, that's fine, because you are legitimately licensing the games. Our concern is if when you buy and own the company who has all the games. Our concern isn't if you do a deal with Activision Blizzard to license the games for xCloud. And then that would still allow Xbox Game Pass Ultimate users in the UK to have access to all those games, yeah, through xCloud. But it would satisfy the CMA that there is a fair and open playing field for people to do licensing for the Activision Blizzard titles. Now, what that means for GeForce Now in the UK, you'd like to think that instead of doing a deal with Microsoft for the Activision Blizzard titles, GeForce Now would do a deal with Activision Blizzard UK cloud company. Yeah, and the same with Boostroid. And you'd like to think that Activision Blizzard would basically honour the principle that Microsoft had originally offered those companies. And the Microsoft deal is still in place for Xbox PC games with GeForce Now and Boostroid. That is a possible solution. Does that make sense? Tell me that you understand what I'm saying. Basically, in the UK, you have Activision Blizzard Cloud UK, and they own the cloud gaming rights to all the Activision Blizzard titles. And then they license those rights to whoever wants them. Clearly, Xbox would like them on a non-exclusive basis. Although, arguably, if somebody could stump up the money, they could get them exclusively. Hopefully not Xbox, because that would undermine the whole bloody point of it. But They would do a license deal with Xbox, so then Xbox can put it on Game Pass. They'd do a license deal with GeForce Now, as we know, and Boostroid for the Activision Blizzard titles. That might be a solution. I think it's a solution that CMA would have to live with, because it means what Microsoft is saying is we won't own the company that owns the games. We'll be licensing those titles just like we would have had to if we wanted Call of Duty on Games Pass. We'd have to license the game. Without this merger, we would have to license those games. Overwatch. We'd have to license those games from Activision, from Blizzard, Activision Blizzard. And that means that they're operating, that suddenly one company doesn't have all the power of all the titles. I think that would be a solution. And it also means that the UK consumers wouldn't be done dirty on it, because if Activision Blizzard cloud company does a license deal with Xbox, and Xbox just puts the titles and makes the titles available for Game Pass subscribers, then UK gamers wouldn't lose out. Like UK Xbox Game Pass Ultimate subscribers wouldn't lose out. I think that would be the solution. It's a structural change. It takes the power, of the rights over those games, the Activision Blizzard games, which at the end of the day is what the CMA is concerned about. Will this cloud divestiture affect current xCloud and non-ABK games? Well, I think the solution, as I said, hopefully if I explained, I think what a possible solution is. Again, I don't know what it is, but I think that would be a solution. Let me know. Let me know. Microsoft buy Activision, adds Call of Duty and another cloud gaming's fast or need time. Yeah. Little will change. Lawyers will make money, and there you go. Solution resolved. Except it's taxpayers' money. So, in the UK anyway, so. I think the idea was, I think the rumour about E is he would just license the rights. It wouldn't be, exclusive. I'm not sure how that worked. GFN servers popped into maintenance mode tonight, causing queues. Queues for Ultimate members. Microsoft closes ABK tomorrow, GeForce Now Thursday. Interesting. God, imagine. If Microsoft must divest cloud gaming, must PlayStation divest their cloud gaming arm too? And if Sony are not required, then how that is fair? Well, that's the point. The point is that the status quo is the games that PlayStation have. The CMA are quite happy with the status quo. The amount of games that PlayStation have, fine. The amount of games that Xbox currently have in the cloud, fine. That's all fine. Healthy cloud gaming market, we're fine. But Activision Blizzard has such big AAA games that from the CMA's point of view, it's suddenly the status quo becomes unbalanced. Xbox has too much power because suddenly they control the biggest games in the market, some of the biggest games in the marketplace. They have control of them. And that changes, and that's the whole point of companies buying other companies, and then those mergers then being scrutinized by competition and market authorities. It's like, the one company having too much power, having too many of the big games. So the argument would be, yes, if PlayStation acquired Take-Two, imagine that, and that went to, for $50 billion or whatever it was, and that went to various competition and market authorities around the world, then yeah, in principle, the argument would apply. Although there were other aspects about Microsoft and cloud gaming. It wasn't just about the games. It was the PC games. Most cloud gaming companies operate on a Windows PC basis. They play Windows PC games. Microsoft own the Windows license. Most cloud gaming companies need a big cloud gaming infrastructure, and the biggest one of the second largest kind of seller of cloud gaming infrastructure is Microsoft. So it was the whole vertical that really concerned the CMA. They would own all the big games, a massive catalogue, in a way that no other company could potentially keep up with other than Sony. They own the operating system that most of the games in cloud gaming is played on. They would, even though they offer all these deals, they would standardize the terms and conditions. The market wouldn't standardize the terms and conditions. Microsoft is the market. They would standardize the terms and conditions. They own cloud gaming infrastructure, or the cloud infrastructure that people need. They're one of the big players. So it was that whole vertical that they were concerned about. But you take out one of those verticals, then that concern will be diminished. Oh, I'm good. Once Game Pass is incorporated into cloud platforms effectively, then xCloud servers can be made redundant. Microsoft will have agreed with GFNE, EE Boostroid, etc. and you'll have access. CMA solved. Exactly. The trouble is, we know xCloud has all the console games, and not all the console games are available on the PC version. I think GeForce Now servers boom Microsoft add Call of Duty, Forza, etc. Exactly, they will. I can't wait for Call of Duty on GeForce Now. Yeah. Currently, xCloud is seamlessly integrated in Xbox console UI. I'll be upset if I have to go to an external website or app to access cloud gaming. Yeah, well, that's what I'm thinking. That's why I think my solution works. Because all you need to do is you set up a separate company that has the licensing rights, and then Xbox license the rights to have it, to be able to make it available, the games available on Xbox Game Pass as they'd already intended. The only difference is they don't own the games in the UK. They've just got a license. But equally, any other cloud gaming company can also have a license. And Activision Blizzard would dictate the terms and conditions for their games. This is Activision Blizzard UK, this made-up company I've made, would set the terms and conditions for the licensing of their games to cloud gaming companies, including licensing it to Xbox. But they wouldn't effectively license it to Microsoft. They'd license it to Xbox, a company within Microsoft. So that's how it would work. I don't think you need a separate app if that's the solution. If it's not the solution, I'm an Xbox character now. The cat is hungry, indeed. 2 words, tough luck. You do know a GFN app is being included into Xbox ecosystem. I hope so. Yeah, 3 million. Give me my 3 billion. Yeah, give me my 3 billion. Take the 3 billion. Exactly. Yes, no easy for me. Think for N, no now. If Microsoft wins tomorrow, do you think we have Call of Duty next day and xCloud or same day? No. So it's not about them. It's about... No. There's an onboarding process. It'll take a while, and also they won't just do it straight away. They'll want a big fanfare around it, big marketing around it. A lot of planning will go into that. And whilst they may have some ideas, they want to do it around a season, when they're selling Xbox, Christmas, Thanksgiving. So it may not be till then anyway, and then they'll know for sure. Know tomorrow what happened. So we'll see tomorrow whether Microsoft and Activision Blizzard just sign the merger deal on the basis they're fairly confident of reaching a settlement with the CMA. It's a risk. If they agree to sign and there's a legitimate value damage conclusion, could be one heck of a train wreck. Yeah, but they might just pay the fine. It's like some companies in some industries where they build in the fine, from governments. They just build it into their equation. I don't want to use GFN, mate. Yeah. Well, I think xCloud will still be a thing. Pixel 6a. Got it on the sale. Oh, no, I bought a few things on the sale I shouldn't have. New Casio coming. A beautiful one. Not this one. It is this model, but it's a limited edition see-through one. Really cool. 40th anniversary see-through G-Shock. Chef's kiss. Can't wait for that. Treated myself. I've been a good boy. Finding great deals at Game, it's fun. It was fun. Or was. Do you remember Game Station and Blockbuster secondhand games? I do. Blockbuster, yeah. But there used to be a game, whenever at the shopping centre, I used to sort of pop into regularly. When when the ex wanted to go furniture shopping, I'd be going, I'm just popping into Game. And then I'd go through the games. Happy days. In a game shop, indeed. xCloud is terrible compared to GFN. Well, when you've played the 4080 Ultimate tier, yeah, chalk and cheese. I was playing. I didn't tell you what games I was playing. I was playing Exo Primal and the Need for Speed. Both on cloud, xCloud. I made my Exo Primal seems sort of fun. I got a bit bored with Need for Speed. I just wanted to race. I was just in the mood for racing, and I kind of got into the story bit, and I thought, I'm not into this story bit. But yeah, the sensitivity on Exo Primal, is off the scale for me. I had to put it really low down. I was going, I couldn't shoot. I need auto target, whatever. But it was fun. What's not to like with and I don't know whether that was a cloud issue or not. But yeah, what's not to like firing at dinosaurs? I disagree with that global option. The UK CMA brief is to protect the UK market. The Brazilian one, yeah, it is. But in order, what I'm saying is, yes, they are there to protect the UK market. But if you're a cloud gaming company, you want to know that your solution, the cloud gaming business operates globally. So you want to know that your solution works on a global platform, as it were. Yeah, you don't really want to be entering into loads of territory deals, territory by territory deals. That's what I'm saying. I think that adds another layer of bureaucracy into any new cloud gaming business, global business, that wants to enter into the UK. Whereas if you can just do deals with the game companies for that game globally, great. But you have to enter two deals. You'd have to enter a deal with Microsoft. If you're a new global cloud gaming company, enter a new deal with Microsoft for all the rights globally except for the UK, and then enter the same deal, another deal with Activision Blizzard for, say Call of Duty. Say you want Call of Duty on your cloud gaming platform globally, you'd have to enter two deals. So in what way is that conducive to, healthy cloud gaming on a global basis? That's kind of what I'm guessing. Yes, they are here to protect the UK market, but in doing so, I think they undermine the global nascent cloud gaming market. Yeah. Microsoft should buy Rockstar or Ubisoft next. What about Sega or Capcom? I don't know why Microsoft would give up their cloud gaming business. They must surely know that cloud gaming is the future. I don't think they'll give up the business. I think they'll just in the UK just to get this, because it's a $70 billion deal, and what the UK's impact on the cloud gaming is like the value of the UK cloud gaming market to Microsoft compared to the getting the deal done is probably, is nothing. It's insignificant. But it's significant to the CMA, but it's not insignificant to the Microsoft. So they'll probably go, look, we'll divest that business in the UK, and, Activision Blizzard UK Cloud will have the licensing rights, and we'll just do a license deal with them in the UK. But the rest of the world, it's not a problem. We own the games. But in the UK, we don't own the games. We'll do a licensing deal. It's a pain in the butt. It's going to cost us a little bit of extra money, but because it has to be on a fair playing field, operate on an equal playing field. They can't have special deal with Activision Blizzard just because they own the mother company. It has to be true arm's length. I work for a company that span off its internal studios, and in order to be allowed to do that and to allow the studios now to run as a limited company and to try and get business from other television companies, not just the BBC, we have to operate the BBC with the studio side, BBC Studios, which is an independent company. We have to operate an arm's length. We can't do any kind of, advantageous deals. We have to operate them in the same way that we would operate with any other production company who makes programs for the BBC. Just because they used to be in-house studios, they're now separate, and we have to operate a true and fair arm's length business, and offer them no favours. And trust me, they don't offer us any favours back either. They'll only do it in the UK to get around the CMA, exactly. I've tried everything, including PC, and it's worlds better on an Xbox. Trust me, Gandara, GeForce Now Ultimate is chef's kiss. The FTC's getting their budget cut 25%, so that's going to hurt them with big cases in the future. Yeah, they've got to make a decision, the FTC, about whether they go ahead with this or not. I don't know, Suarez. So back to the FTC, about whether they just accept it. I can't see them backing down. It would make them look weak. But they have to just go ahead and risk losing the case, which I think they probably will. EE would own the tech, but not have to pay another sub to them as well. I'm not sure how that would work, but my idea is that, no, it would be a licensing deal. So they would own, EE, for instance, would own the licensing rights. Or, as I said, you set up Activision Blizzard Cloud Gaming and license them out. So either EE gets the licensing rights, and Xbox would have to enter a deal with the EE to license the Activision Blizzard games to Games Pass. That's how I think it would work, and that's how I think it's probably the best solution. Unless I don't know, I'm not a business strategist on that point of view, or a corporate structure expert. I'm a bit of a business strategist, but not a corporate corporate structure expert. I think that would be a solution. And then that way, as consumers, we would still get Game Pass. We'd still get the Activision Blizzard games on Game Pass and all of that. It would just be it's just a business transaction. As consumers, we don't care. As long as we're not having that would be the point. As long as UK consumers aren't having to have a separate app or pay extra, which should not be the case. And if that's the case, then I think it undermines the UK's position totally, the UK CMA's position. And I don't think the UK CMA would want that. But if the sort of the onus or the pain in the butt element of it is just with Microsoft and Activision Blizzard, but the UK consumer's experience is identical, then that's the perfect solution. And a way that's achieved is it's just a structural corporate change in which in the UK, Microsoft don't own the cloud gaming rights to the Activision Blizzard titles, but have to license them as an independent company, as a separate operation in the UK, which they could still do, still stick them on Games Pass, and as consumers, we could still access those games via Xbox Game Pass. That's my solution. Microsoft, if you're listening, my consultancy fee is very, very reasonable. Please contact me in the DMs for finding the solution in the UK. UK on console, xCloud has no lag and very good. It's a good 1080p stream. Definitely Gandara. But the ultimate GeForce Now stream is bonkersly good. Microsoft can say, we'll not put Activision games in the UK on cloud. They could, but I don't think that's the solution, because that would be putting UK cloud gamers in a worse position, which I'm sure the CMA don't want. The CMA's concern is that Microsoft is dominant in owning the cloud infrastructure, owning the platform on which most of the games operate on, Windows, and if they get Activision Blizzard, not only owning loads of studios with loads of AAA games, but owning some of the biggest games in the market in a position where they can make those exclusive to their cloud gaming platform. And it's that vertical of all those elements that the CMA are concerned about. So if the solution is to unpick one of those verticals, i.e. not owning the Activision Blizzard titles for cloud gaming in the UK, but having to license them from a separate UK company in order to put the games on Games Pass, I think that's a win-win solution. It's not, it's not convenient for Microsoft, but as I said, the value of doing all that, I mean, they wouldn't have to pay that much for the UK streaming rights. They're not paying for the streaming rights globally. This isn't like a cloud gaming deal they have to do globally. It is just for the UK. In television, for instance, the BBC have certain titles that Netflix invest in, but Netflix can't show those titles in the UK for like 18 months. But they buy the global rights and they can show them across Netflix globally. They just can't put it on Netflix in the UK for like 18 months because the BBC have the UK rights. Now, Netflix like to do just global deals. They don't like to do deals which chop up the territories. But if they're coming into a deal, if they're investing in a program or a new series, a drama with the BBC, then the BBC, we want the UK rights for a minimum of 18 months. We want it on iPlayer for a minimum of 18 months before it goes on Netflix. Whereas, so on day one, globally, it goes on Netflix, except in the UK where it goes on BBC iPlayer. And then 18 months later, we'll decide whether we want to extend iPlayer or do a non-exclusive deal where we extend it non-exclusively and then it also goes on Netflix. So it'll be like that. It's sort of be a deal like that where Microsoft own the cloud gaming rights for Activision Blizzard titles globally, except in the UK, where they'd have to license them and do a license deal, just as they already do a license deal, I don't know, with Capcom titles like Exo, Primal, right? They had to do a licensing deal to get Exo Primal onto Games Pass. And that's all they'll do, is they'll have to do a licensing deal with a UK entity that owns the Activision Blizzard cloud gaming rights in order to have the game on Xbox Game Pass in the UK. But the rest of the world is fine because they own the game anyway. Hopefully that will make sense. So hopefully they won't be giving up the streaming rights to COD only. Would you really want to play COD in the cloud and expect to be competitive? Yeah. Yeah, because not everybody's a super competitive. I mean, like I'm not brilliant, but it's still fun. I play the DMZ thing. It's still fun. There's still kids playing on some bad laggy, on Xbox One or PlayStation 4 or whatever. Be pretty competitive against them. Not everyone has super competitive setup. And, GeForce Now Ultimate, as has been proved, you take like Apex Legends, has a faster response time than Xbox Series X locally. So, yeah, you can still be competitive. I mean, I'm not a super competitive player, but yeah. That's why I wouldn't miss it, says Gandara. Yeah, you'd have half a chance. That's what I'm saying. But Ultimate, it's been proven, to be fast. Apex Legends was tested by Digital Foundry and found that GFN 4080 tier had less, a quicker response time, less latency than Xbox Series X natively. I always play at 120 hertz. Hell, I could beat anyone with my toes playing in COD in the cloud. Yeah, they can't form a shell company and just offer them to Microsoft. Any company should be able to approach ABK UK and have the option. That's the point, yeah. In order for it to work, they have to be in the exact same position as any other cloud gaming company or any other company that offers cloud gaming in the UK. They have to operate on the same basis. They'd have to go to ABK UK, as we're going to call it from now on, and say, we would like, please, the Activision Blizzard games. We'd like a license to have the Activision Blizzard games on Games Pass. And they couldn't have an advantageous position. I mean, you can offer them a lot of money, but they can't have an advantageous position than any other company in the UK. Wow, did you see the old COD games on sale and fix the 360 COD game server? I didn't see that. They're getting huge player numbers. Interesting. What other games does Activision have? Warcraft, StarCraft, Diablo, Overwatch. So Blizzard is Overwatch, isn't it? Yeah. Plus a ton of other franchises. Via the Edge browser. GFN's already... Yeah, I haven't tried it via the Edge browser. But it won't be a one click from the Xbox game card. I have to open up the browser, log in. You never know. Hopefully they, it'd be great if they're offering... It'd be interesting because since they'll be doing a special app for GeForce Now, I wonder if they make that app available natively, as it were, on Xbox consoles. Fussy. I can't wait for Game Pass on GFN. I can't. It's going to be, I have a mouse and keyboard bias. Yeah, see, I don't play mouse and keyboard, but I get you. Yeah. I just want to play some of those games, in beautiful 4K, 120 FPS and all of that GeForce Now Ultimate offers you. It's 1080 60. Screw that. Xgo, what a load of poo. Yeah, I'm not sure about it. I'm like, it seems a bit basic in places. 70 billion. Oh, it's crazy. It's crazy. I've never used GFN. Is it worth the money? I think it depends, Jordan, on your situation. If you are a PC gamer and you've built up a big Steam library, but you don't have a particularly powerful gaming PC, then yes, I'd say GeForce Now Ultimate is definitely worth it. the quality is amazing. If you've got a reasonable, good internet, and I don't mean super powerful, I just mean you're close to a server. My internet speed is 50 megabits per second average, which is like not particularly, it's not even a gig, it's 50 megabits per second. But GeForce Now Ultimate plays and feels amazing. I wouldn't go for the free version. It's not a great experience. But yeah, I think that's who it's for. People who've got an aging old gaming PC, maybe not in a position to spend, you need like a $2,000 gaming PC to get to the level that GeForce Now Ultimate offers you. We worked it out ages ago on a show once, roughly. There's sort of a bit out there, but we did a rough calculation. At least a $2,000 gaming PC to get to the level that you get on GeForce Now Ultimate. But then again, not every PC game is on it. I mean, there's 1,600 games. But yeah, loads of people go, oh, where's Diablo? Where's Call of Duty? All this. There's definitely missing games. So it really depends. But I think it's a good solution to somebody with an aging gaming PC who's traditionally built a big license of Epic Game Store and Steam Library games. I think it's really good value. I have a 1080, exactly. If you play on a 1080 60 machine, I was playing xCloud on my old Xbox S, not Series S, Xbox S. And of course I was getting a better experience of the game because I was playing the Xbox Series X version of the game in the cloud on my Xbox S, not Series S. So actually, that works out really well. Now I've got an Xbox Series X, so it changes. Now I have FTP. Oh, there we are. Fiber straight in. Fiber straight to the door. Excellent. Series S is 1440p. Once you set up IVP on your FTP router. Yeah, like I said, I've got 50 megabits per second. GigaClear is coming around soon. I live in a village, but there is meant to be FTTP coming very soon. I'm not sure whether I want to swap because I want to be up to date. If you own one, then you would know that. After Microsoft buy Bethesda, we have Bethesda games on xCloud and Game Pass after 3 days. I don't know if it'll be 3 days. But because I think they'd make a big song. They want to make a big thing about it. They wouldn't just say, there you are. Bleh. They'd go, there's lots of prep to be doing. A Japanese company would be more important. I agree with you, Tiberon. I think Sega or Capcom. I mean, there was rumor that they were going to buy Sega. Maybe Microsoft just want to give the wallet a rest for a bit. I have 2.1 HDMI, so I can do 120 hertz. Oh yes, I've got an IPv6 router on router. Excellent. I'm just whizzing through this because we've done a lot. COD runs 120. Nice. I think xCloud's seen a major step forward. I must admit, playing Exoprimal, I had to stop for a moment and go, gosh, yeah, this is xCloud. It never used to be that good, but it's looking great. I mean, I also play it on a LG TV, which sort of upgrades the picture a bit, so it always looks great. It would have to be old COD. Yeah, that's what I use it. I try the game. If I really like the game, I'll download it because I've an Xbox Series X, so I want to play it. Yeah, Halo Infinite, I must admit, I'm not particularly a great competitive shooter, but I often get MVP. I'm in the middle of the player list. where I used to always be bottom, say, Destiny 2 PvP or something like that. But Halo Infinite plays great in the cloud, looks great. I have a great experience. Although I now do play it on Xbox Series X. There are no true next-gen games that run 120 hertz on the Series S. Not many are. I'm just whizzing through. I'm leaving your conversation there about the what if Sony buys? Yeah, imagine. Yeah, that'd be crazy. Fabi, you and I'm looking forward to playing GeForce Now on Ultimate. Yeah, the board will reject the offer. Well, maybe because the mother company would. That'd be interesting. I think Clive's on the right path. You cannot play any game on external provider like GFN and still be hooked into the Xbox ecosystem. Yeah, I guess the achievements and MS rewards, that's kind of an issue they have to sort of sort out, isn't it? It's going to be a dumpster fire. Cloud gaming gets better and better every few months. It's very responsive. Right, ladies and gentlemen, that was a blockbuster of a show, wasn't it? I'm sorry if I've missed any of your chat. We're whizzing through. Let's just check on the poll. Wow. 73% of the people thought... I hate that with the polls. They disappear. Not the Polish people. Polls, voting polls. 73% of people think they're going to just go ahead and close the deal tomorrow and just think they're confident that they can reach an agreement with the CMA tomorrow. Anyway, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. Wow, what a show. If you haven't hit the likes, hit them already. Really, really appreciate everybody who came to the show. A lot of jibber jabber in there, but hopefully it all made sense. Maybe I have hit on a solution. If I have, praise me. If I haven't, just, let's not talk about it. Have a wonderful, wonderful week. Hopefully, Thursday, GeForce Now, Thursday chat, 10 p.m. on Thursday. There's a bit more to talk about than there has been for the last couple of weeks. Fingers crossed. We will see. We will see. And we'll certainly see what Microsoft and Activision Blizzard are going to do tomorrow. They're going to have to make an announcement because shareholders are involved, so they have to make a public announcement. They're either signing the deal or not signing the deal and postponing it, or paying $3 billion or walking away. I don't think that's going to happen. But whatever, it will be publicly announced tomorrow, and you can be sure I'll be covering it where I can. Have a wonderful, wonderful week. I hope, and nobody seems to have spotted that I'm opening up my background to you guys. I got rid of the backdrop. I hope you like it. It's just, we're just changing things up a bit, Anyway, have a wonderful, wonderful week. As ever, really, really appreciate you all being here. And on that note, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to find the outro button and I'm going to go, Arigatou gozaimasu, Jenai, good night.